Uh, okay. I'm recording myself in the dark. Can't see anything. I can't see myself at all. Vaguely. Ugh. I'm tired. Today is March the 11th, 2019. I am bored out of my mind. And naturally, all these things that a person my age would, I guess, normally have as thoughts. So, naturally, I agree with that. I don't commit or insist there's any problem. When I'm on my own, I feel tired, a little depressed with life and suffer all the things that we all naturally suffer from, like self-esteem, questioning, and thoughts of, am I adequate? Am I worth anything in life? And these are all normal thoughts that often we are not sure if they're normal, and it makes us question our self-worth or whatever. But we all have them. Anything that can be thought of by a human, we are naturally all monkey see, monkey do, curious, and we want to ponder the thought ourselves. We want to be relatable, and we want to fit in, and we want to relate to others. That being said, which is to my identity crisis of who I am in life, especially at this point in my life. And I've hit a stale point where I feel like every day is kind of just like the next, just like the last. And it's this crisis we reach, I guess, with life crisis, of us wondering who the hell we are and what's going on. I guess it's just every day of some of our lives, like mine. I guess sometimes we feel like every day is a crisis. So we just make significant the title of the one being in midlife, I guess, because it's constant. But every day we learn and we grow and we question these new thoughts that every human being tends to have. Who we are. Are we worthy of anything? And all the things that we have. It's our ego, which is maturing and growing with us. And we carry it with us our whole journey of our lives, whether it be significant or insignificant. Because the things we choose to say affect how we feel. Emotionally, physically, all the way around. And I guess as I'm growing, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do about my life, the decisions I want to make, and who I want to be. Because I've yet to find that yet. Because I had an adventurous life. That's what I would call it. In relation to other people's lives. Because the average life, none of us have the average life really. Because we all have something completely different happen to us, but mine's led me to places where I'm not sure where I'm going or what's going to happen to me or where I'm going to end up. And I have a child, but I've lived alone for so long. For about 10 years, I've resided just with my son and myself. And at first, the first point of that adventure was assuming that all these great things might happen later on and trying to make the best of it. But many years later, I'm too afraid to take steps to make anything in my life happen. I've grown so comfortable with the way things are. I don't even know if I'm comfortable with them because I don't feel it is, again, adequate in my life right now. I don't feel 100% like I have what I need to be happy, but it's my life. And out of a fear of, having seen bad things happen before in my life, I want to feel safe, comfortable. So sometimes I would very much so just rather live alone like this. You know, our hearts can only take so much. Things change and so many things happening. And I feel like I'm too afraid to have the things that I once thought would make me happy. Because I'm afraid those things just don't exist. And a part of maturing is accepting that conclusion instead of always denying it or looking for points to counter it. Just because we will it. You know, we're not living in fantasies anymore. When I was younger and people were making babies and getting married and all those things, I didn't see any positive things come from it. And today, I feel like I'm fighting the honest truth about it. And I think what I've recognized about things like, for example, social media and all these places where adults now socialize who have homes and lives and commitments and families, that we feel too much fear of what people should think of us, that we're constantly being told not to share our personal thoughts and our stories and our lives and the things about us that make us unique individuals, our individual tragedies, our individual, the ugly side that nobody wants to see when we're painting this pretty picture of ourselves that we're constantly showing on the media into what has now become the public behind a camera and a lens, and that's all the public sees of us anymore. In modern society, population has grown so big that the majority of the time we're actually around strangers, so the people that we typically know are those that are on social media, which is funny. Social media has become our family, and we don't see them anymore in real lives. And the people around us in real lives are not family, they're not friends, they're people that we hardly know and we just have to associate with. And we preach that keeping, a safe, distant relationship with those that we work with even is considered safer and less drama or whatever than family ties or having to work with family. A lot of these assumptions and stigmas and, I guess, things that are shown to us that this is what we're supposed to believe and how we're supposed to think is what we've let adapt ourselves or adopt. It's the theories that we've adopted in our lives. So anyways, my wrap up to this is me personally learning how to gain a little self-esteem, and instead of always taking a picture and telling myself I look ugly and trying to fish for the best picture that I think makes me look the best, and then other people just constantly telling me, oh, you look pretty, and me supposed to be anticipating this is normal when I know that it's not, for somebody to just want to tell you that you're pretty. These are all self-esteem errors and bias that we think we need, and we don't need those things. And I guess while we all want to look pretty, we all want to be accepted and treated politely and safely. And sometimes we just want to be treated ugly like everyone else. Because we assume that the average person is ugly, and some of us assume that the average person is beautiful. Some of us think that everyone's beautiful, and some of us, I don't know. Some of us have self-esteem errors, and I truly do. I think I look like a loser sometimes.
No, you don't. Got it.
Sometimes I think I am a dork, and sometimes I think I'm ugly. And I don't care what anyone tells me. 1,000 people could tell me I'm beautiful, I look wonderful, but the truth is, I'm suffering from an ego or self-esteem problem. And I don't know if it's normal, but I've seen it at least at some point in everybody's lives that I've known. So, and not to say that it's normal, but I know I'm not a freak for it. I know that I'm not just sick or mentally ill or suffering from depression or need to be diagnosed with something or put on a pill that everybody swears up and down is going to save my life and fix everything and solve every solution there's a pill for. I don't think I necessarily believe in that. So from now on, I'm going to be learning how to become comfortable with myself and publicly sharing my thoughts, which some of you know me, I always have publicly kind of shared my thoughts and not cared what anybody thinks, despite all the advertisements. Never share your personal feelings, emotions, problems, blah, blah, blah on social media. People don't take it right or whatever. They won't want to be your friend. Well, I don't care what people think, and I don't want them to be my friends. I really don't. I don't care if anybody comments or likes my stuff or posts on anything. I don't even want anybody to post on anything. As a matter of fact, there's this like repulsive, angry feeling that I seem to get when people do comment. Like I care what their thoughts are, or I ask for their thoughts. And I know there's a guideline, there's being polite, and as adults we learn we need to be just more patient all the time. That the more patient we can be, we should take. But then our youthful side says, hey, come on, you know what? Somebody's being a dick. Just let them know they're being a dick. You don't have to put up with it. Usually, if something's telling you they are, they are. But the truth in life is there's a lot of things that we don't know because we know we all have been treated a certain way because people made assumptions about us. And they were wrong. So, I guess there's always been double standards and sayings for if you should care what other people think about you, and that if you could affect the way other people think about you, wouldn't you want them to think well about you as to how you present yourself in public? No, you shouldn't care what anybody thinks about you. But true, you should care about how they feel. You know? Like, you don't want to offend anyone, though. So, if your intentions are not to offend any others, should they be offended? Or should you be offended by what they are offended by? So, no, I guess naturally you should never care what people think about you. And in depth and in truth, I definitely can say I don't. On the other hand, we all have this, like, flip-sidey point to our personalities. And, you know, we look at life observationally, but we can't figure ourselves out 100%. Still living creatures trying to make the best of who we are and what God has given us. And not all of us have the best, you know? Definitely none of us have the best in everything. And it's just not fair that it seems that we're all handed different cards and we're forced to be able to play them. And believe still that we are the best. But what makes them any less important? You know, just because we all have different cards, that makes competing completely unfair. It makes trying to fit in completely unfair. It makes trying to share completely unfair, because who do we choose? Do we choose ourselves or another and then assume that the other that we're choosing is more important than everyone else around them? And how can we even base that or make that assumption or begin to even measure that? Seems completely unfair and unnatural. So, as I now contemplate my thoughts obliviously and anonymously in a very dark setting in the middle of my bunk bed while talking to you all you wonderful people. I realize that I need to get off of here because I got shit I gotta do. And I hope this helped me realize that. Thank you for listening.